I cannot do the well that I already am doing in that subject.
So it's good to involve more people, like talking to the teachers about your flair for that subject, talking to people who coach you for that subject, trying to understand what are the problems that you face while learning it. So I think that such topics require bigger dissection and understanding rather than a sole conclusion. We always felt that comparisons were usually done so that people compete better and get good outcomes, or at least better outcomes with whom they were compared.
Hello, sir. My name is Rihanna. I am 13. And in today's world, I have observed that having a sibling can be the best but the worst thing ever, because I have a brother and at home I am constantly compared to him. Say for marks, he is the topper of his class of his college, but me on the other hand, I am an average student, and although I try my best, I score only at least up to 80 marks. What should I do for the comparison that goes on at my house?
Ariana, first of all, at 13, you are very confident because to discuss about this deeper topic, you need lots of courage. See, I feel that we live in an era where parents are under too much of pressure because how they have performed as a parent is only decided by the results of their children. So, parents at all the times are behind marks, behind performance, behind getting some sorts of results. Now, comparison is a very interesting phenomenon. If we go back, we always felt that comparisons were usually done so that people compete better and get good outcomes, or at least better outcomes with whom they were compared. However, we forget a very basic human psychological frailty, which says that when we are compared to someone, our brain automatically belittles us and we consider ourselves that we are lower than them, we are not up to the mark, or we have not reached where we were supposed to because the comparator जिसके साथ we were compared is way above us and we have not been able to achieve those heights. So basically when a parents do this, if your parents, if any parents out there, they do this, it is their way of motivating you, because in all of us there is a very big motivational speaker for others, not for ourselves. So we are very good motivating others. When it comes to us, we are the biggest losers on this planet. So when the parents try to motivate you, they obviously pick up the comparison principle that look at your sibling, look at your sister, they are doing so good. And inside, they are very happy saying this. They feel that tomorrow Rihanna will get up and she'll be a new leaf and she'll be better than the sibling. Doesn't work that way. First of all, what is needed is some sort of open communication between the parent and the child. That they want you to excel and that you want to use up all the resources that they provide to become someone important, to become knowledgeable, to become a good student is a very well known transparent phenomena between the two of you. But the comparison hurts you rather than motivates you is something that needs to be consciously and very loudly in a very calm tone told to them. Because parents, when challenged in their acts of parenting, would assume that they have been challenged in everything they have done till now. So, first of all, acknowledging whatever they have done is great. They have to take good care of me. I'm studying in a good school, I have a good education system, I have a good social support system. However, what harms me is the comparison part only. So, when you delineate the problem and you appreciate the other parts, a parent would very nicely listen to you. Because if you allege them for some problem and not acknowledge them what they have done good, so they would assume that they have been a bad parent. So there will be extreme reaction from them. Second, I feel that it is time for all of us to realize that a brain has different areas, right? From creativity to performing arts to mathematics to science to innovations. So every brain is unique and we call this as neurodiversity, which means no two brains are same and nothing that someone does can be compared with the other people. And that is how we have ADHD, autism, some of the fields of mental health, wherein we consider all of them as a part of a neurodiversity and not as people as some abnormality or a disease. Let's say that when you say the said number of marks, 80 marks, 70 marks, I feel that that is a number specific to that topic or that subject and trying to get better than someone. It can be a sibling, it can be someone from neighborhood, a classmate, would be very, a very microscopic or a very tunnel type of vision. And I feel that you also need to first of all improve upon your own self-esteem, wherein you are able to understand that the comparator is good at that. It is the best of him and maybe the worst of me. So I'm not great at maths and he or she is great at maths. So his or her grade cannot be compared with my weakness. It is like I compare some good skill of yours with mine which is not great, and you compare your mental health skill with mine. Cannot be possible because I've been in this field more than what your age is, correct? So comparing someone's best with our worst is something more negative than what we can do to ourselves. At any junctures, comparisons have never helped us. There's a difference between comparison and competition, correct? Comparison usually turns to be unhealthy, wherein it hurts the people involved in it. See, someday it would hurt your sibling as well, correct? Because they are also under immense pressure of maintaining what they are doing. And always see to it that you don't overtake him or her. So this creates unhealthy atmosphere for both of you. And I'm very sure that the parents are not looking for this. They want your sibling to sustain what he or she is doing, and they want you to reach the same heights. While in competition is completely different, wherein two people are given a common target and they are given free will to run in that direction the way they can. The one who wins, let's say reaches first to the target, is not supposed to be the one who's beaten the other one. The other one needs to catch up, correct? Unlike a race or a competition or an Olympics gold medal, reaching to a specific marks is not the final alternative or a motive that you have. Education per se is to improve your information knowledge skills, eventually become a better educated version of yourself. So next time a comparison is done, rather than wait until the results get better or worse marks and then talk to them, it's time that you sit there and talk about the comparison and not the outcome, and say whatever is the pressure you face because of that comparison, whatever negative things might happen with you because of that, and like you can compare yourself with the previous results of yours. You got 60, maybe you can aim for 65 this time, irrespective of what your sibling gets. If you get 70, aim for 75 next time. So maybe comparing yourself with the previous version of you and bettering over it would be the best comparison, rather than comparing someone's best with what you are still trying to learn or overcome. So these are the sorts of communication skills if you develop with your parents. See, it is not only their responsibility to be your friend, it is also your responsibility to lend that hand to them. Second, you can be friendly with your parents and not friendship. फर्क है. You cannot tell your mother कि सुनीता आ जाओ चलो बाहर गप्पे मारते हैं. No, that is not possible. That is friendship, which you can tell to your friend. Friendly means you are open to talk about everything that you go through without the fear of being judged and criticized. Correct? And always remember that because they are elders with more experience, they would always try to impart their knowledge and experience to you. It is not an imposition. Again, talk it out without challenging. So when they say that the parents need to be more friendly, I also said that the Generation Z, the teenagers, Gen Alpha, which you belong to, also need to lend a hand of friendliness to the parents. It's a bilateral shake hand which happens. Only one person cannot put their hand and prove that they are friendly. Comparisons should be managed timely, or else they lead to low self-esteem, self-doubts, negative self-criticism. That would lead to some sorts of performance-related issues, anxiety-related issues, mood swings, and further on depression if it is not managed well and the comparison becomes too toxic. So I would say comparison is good if we do it with ourselves. The time it is done with someone else, it is negative, unhealthy, and needs to be stopped at the earliest.
But again, what happens is that in some cases, people think that maybe there is a saying that not always everything can be right and not always everything can be wrong. Some things go right, some things go wrong. But over here, if I say share what I feel, I always think that my parents criticize me for getting low marks in front of my brother, and what usually happens is that instead of motivating me, it hurts me, and then I think that I'm not capable of doing what my brother can do. So it feels a little demotivating, and then I cannot do the well that I already am doing in that subject or maybe in that field, whatever.
Rihanna, it's great even if at a very young age we learn to form boundaries, correct? So people can infringe our boundaries but cannot break them, correct? Now, whenever you feel at any juncture that any sort of comparison is getting too toxic for you, rather than getting agitated, lost, impulsive, it's good to share your boundaries that this hurts me and I am not going to be able to handle some sorts of comparisons. Now, what happens is at this age, because you are young and the decision making areas of the brain are still not very well developed, so it would not be very easy for you to stand for yourself, and you would create a wall, which means you'll isolate yourself, not talk to them, and assume that they don't understand you. And it is better not to tell them anything and just take my book, work harder, get good marks because that is all they want from me. And in trying to do this, you'll create a wall. So now when you create a wall, you're not only isolating yourself with the academic part, correct? Which means that, okay, the comparison happens, I'll get good marks, period, it's done. So they don't need to talk to me ever again. Now that what hurts us the most. Because when we create a wall, we also emotionally create a wall, psychologically create a wall, socially, relationship-wise. And without our understanding, we drift apart from them and automatically assume that they would never understand me. I feel that any parent is not going to 100% understand their child, and that would apply to me as well someday. Because even in spite of being a psychiatrist, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to face the same issues that every parent faces someday.
Yeah.
The good thing here would be that keeping a boundary, that beyond a point if you compare, I'm not going to perform better. See, it's like a bell's curve. After a peak, even if I'm pushed further, I'm going to fall and fall and fall. So it doesn't work. So forming a good boundary where you can talk to them, that this is going to hurt me, this makes me feel negative, this makes me feel demotivated, because until it is not openly discussed and you say that, okay, I'll study, I'll do hard work, I'll get better at what I'm doing, I'll get better marks. So you don't need to validate whatever a parent says. You need to openly talk about what you're capable of and discuss at length what are the possibilities. See, at times, again as I said, the prefrontal cortex or the decision making area of the brain is still not developed. Possibly you have self-doubts because of which you assume that you don't know a specific subject more than your sibling knows. So it's good to involve more people, like talking to the teachers about your flair for that subject, talking to people who coach you for that subject, trying to understand what are the problems that you face while learning it. So I think that such topics require bigger dissection and understanding rather than a sole conclusion that you work harder, get better marks, you'll get better than him at it. So it's good to openly talk. It's good to involve them, inclusiveness rather than building walls. The more they're included, they would realize what are the actual challenges that you face. And then the advices suddenly stop. Because until then they feel that it is you who is doing certain things who was not supposed to do. But when they know more about you, they are more included into the process of what you go through and why you are not able to perform. The advice is dry down and the open discussions start there. And then the boundaries are well defined wherein people will not be able to enter inside, would be there, see there, help you, but your space is your space. Nobody infringes in it to make you feel lower, have self-doubts or poor self-esteem.
But isn't it then, I've observed that in some cases when people keep on constantly advising you to do something, and when you're like, okay, fine, I'll just do it and then go. They start gaslighting you about it. And when you actually do your own thing, they come back with their advices that, oh, why did you do it this way? You could have done it this way. Or maybe you could have done it better if you had listened to me. XYZ things they just tell you. And they start gaslighting you, so you regret the decisions you've made. Isn't that bad?
Gaslighting at any level is definitely bad. I would not reject that idea. But when people are gaslighting you, it is not only some sort of manipulation from their side. It is some sort of an emotional or mental vulnerability we have that we are gaslighted, correct? So you need to be very clear about your concepts and ideas. Let's say if you are not great at maths. So you need to be very clear about that idea and then try and discuss things with others. If you assume that I am great at a specific topic and you would not want to take up some positive inputs from people, is when people start advising or gaslighting you. So I think that again, open communication helps. And if beyond a point a parent is not able to understand, I think talking to the school counselors who can also call the parents would really work.
Thank you so much, sir. It really helped talking to you, and I'm sure I'll implement these things and let you know about the results.
For sure.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. It was good.